So another important step with your game is to start having your nodes um, recognize each other when they come into contact. So if you watch down here on my console printout, when I come into contact with things, I'm getting a reading now. Every time I hit a cookie, you'll see it popping up. And if I hit the ground, you'll see that display as well. So I am getting contact right now. So let me show you how that started and what you can do to make this work properly. So you're getting contact with a few items. I wanted to set it up with definitely the ground. So if it hits the ground, you'll have a game over. The cookies are rewards, so they're going to be the face will be grabbing cookies. But let's show you what I did with the face first and how that looks for your contact stuff. So everything else will be the same, but when you create your face, you want to add a couple lines of code. One is to define where the physics body itself is. So this line of code will actually say what is taking on the physics, and so we're essentially just assigning that face physics. If it does want to be able to contact things, that's the next line of code right here. If we control click on this, you'll see contact bit mass is a mass that defines which categories of the body cause intersection notification. So this just sets the entire face to contact. Dynamic, do you want it when it hits other things to move based off what it hits? That's going to change based on your game. Mine is not. Collision bit mask is a number you can assign, and if those numbers are 0, they will go through each other. If they're not, they will interact with each other. And do you want that piece to rotate? There are tons of other physics body stuff very similar to the dynamic animation, which you'll want to go through. So I set that up for the face. For the ground, I created a physics body the size of the ground and made the dynamic false as well. You'll also see that I've given the face.name. This is another important thing. We can reference the node by giving it a name, which is a string. So I just called it the same thing. I did that for the ground as well. So that's important. Make sure you name it. That'll come back into play when we start doing our contact method. And then the last thing were those cookies. If we look at the cookies, again, set up the physics body. This time I'm doing a circle radius for that cookie because it's a round shape. Change to dynamic. You may need to play around with the physics body if you're not getting an interaction exactly how you want it to. Name the cookie. So that's really all I needed to do. Next step is I go down here to the did begin contact, and I'm calling this function. If you just start typing did begin contact, you'll see there's another one. If you just type the word contact, there's another one that says did end contact. You can only have this method called one time, did begin or did end. So everything will go into those for your physics contacts. Okay. I want to do did begin contact because I want to see if two items hit each other. You don't know which. You're always going to have two things contacting each other. You don't know which one is getting assigned body A or body B. So this is saying if there is contact with body A, which is a node, and its name is cookie, I want something to happen. Or if I have a contact with body B and its node name is cookie. So I'm just giving both instances because when something hits, let's say the cookie hits the smiley face, I don't know if it's going to be body A or body B. The computer determines that, so we just use both instances so that we know we're going to get contact with that cookie. So if there's contact with a cookie with another object that has physics, I'm going to print that I hit a cookie. If there's contact with the ground with an object that has physics, I'm going to hit the ground. In this case, the only thing that can hit these two things would be the face, because that's the only thing that has physics and the contact associated with it. So now when I run that, that's how I was getting this ground and cookie printouts, because I was doing that here. If I wanted to remove a cookie every time I hit it, I would put that into my code here. So let's go back a step. So I added this little bit of code now that says if the contact with the body node A is a cookie, I want to remove it from the parent. If there's contact with B, remove it from parent. So this cookie is going to get removed here. If the face hits the ground, I'm going to remove it. So now when I go to run this, you'll see that the cookies should start disappearing when I hit them. Removing from parent means you're taking it away from the view. And so really once you can get that print line working, the rest is just trial and error to see that you're getting contact with stuff. So you see those cookies disappear. I hit the ground, it went away. Okay, so that's really a key component in the game, and now you start building your logic after this. I'll leave this up here just so you can see it, but that's going to be a very useful function to you, and how to check if you're coming into contact with stuff. Start with the print line, and then start adding what you want to do once you know you're getting a contact defined there.